Hey guys, welcome back to the Hunter Report episode 2, where we just sit down and chill with another member of the core community. As always, I'm your one of your two hosts, SD Entertainment, aka Liam, aka William Parker, and joining me as always is my co-host Yuri K, aka Yoshikuna, aka Josh. Say hi.
Sup?
Yeah, and got quite a lot of good words on the first episode, so thank you so much for that. We're really appreciative of all the love you've given us on that first episode. But for today, we've got another very special guest, and I feel we've also gone up a level. He's somebody who has been on the channel before, about 3 years ago. 3 years ago, with this channel's inception, is actually, as I've got the channel up right now, is actually the second video on this channel. He is a big part of the core community for a long time with NGC, FAM, and now recently just launched JAM Gender Movement. Cameron Bash, say hi.
What's up? Camera Bash, aka Broken Fun Bash, aka Broken Fun Jam. Isn't it amazing how many names we have in this little community between us?
Like 9 names, right? Right,
yeah, everybody's
between
got
us
at least
three.
2 or 3 names.
Yeah, I did forget to mention about Broken Fun Bash. Sorry about that.
That's not good. It's all good. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's got 2 or 3 names. You just pick one. You go with it.
Yeah, all the links and stuff will be in the description below. But yeah, so I think we should cut all the bullshit and get this underway. So I'm gonna let the good speaker, the better speaker than me, Josh, start anything off. And I'll see if I can try and portray it along through that way.
Right, well, just first things first. How you been, Bash? Been doing good?
Yeah, been doing good. Currently in the middle of pandemic living still. I've been sort of cooped up for the most part in my house now since March. Sort of just been getting out at least an hour a day for a bit of exercise and that. But yeah, besides from that, been shielding. I unfortunately fall into a couple of different classifications for high risk with this whole COVID thing. Yeah, so yeah, just bunkering down really and staying safe. And just trying not to go insane, basically.
Oh, you've been growing out that beautiful beard of yours and that, like, Jesus locks you got there.
Oh, yeah. Big. And I actually cut the long hair for the first time since, 2015? We finally cut a little bit of length off because it was just getting insane. It was like going all the way down to my arse. And when it's at that point, I can't even reach the end of it by putting my hands behind my back. So it was just really getting out of control. So we've cut that down a bit. It's still really long, but it's just not as out of control.
Everything. I mean, it seems a little bit more easier to like finally get stuff done now with like things like even actually starting to slowly open back up again.
Yeah, well, I mean, just with me hunkering down and me shielding, I'm not going to be getting back into the swing of things. I think until probably next year. I've got home working set up now, and I'm going to be doing that now into sort of the foreseeable future. But yeah, I'm aiming for vaccine territory before I'm feeling comfortable going out because I don't know what it's like everywhere. I believe it's better in some places, but just the attitude to the whole thing where I'm at is just not good, and people are sort of very hostile towards it and very hostile to people wearing masks and things like that. It's not been a very pleasant time the few times that I have gone into any sort of semi-populated area.
Yeah, that sucks to hear. Because with my area, like, there's still everybody going out and about, but of course, wearing the masks when going into shops and then like washing their hands up with like hand sanitizers. So with me, it's pretty like calmed down here.
Yeah, I can vouch for how bad it is for shops as well because I'm not going to specify what shop I work in. Because I don't want to get fired. The customers that they do have going in there are nigh insufferable. Like I don't think I've met a single person since everything's been being slightly lifted that haven't distanced themselves from me. Like I think that even though we still kind of keep the rules of distancing in effect, and I can vouch for that. It's crazy, honestly. But yeah, I think that's enough about enough about this disaster.
Enough about real world. Into a little fantasy world.
Now let's go into the world of fantasy. I think we're gonna probably do this a bit out of order, obviously, like we spoke about in private. So, JAM, very successful launch, I gotta say.
Yeah, thank you. Been enjoying it very much so far. It's got those. One of the most fun periods I ever had in core was those NGC days. Just because it was the first time doing something like that on that level, where a lot of people were into it, a lot of people were watching, and just the buzz around it at the time, and seeing the storylines begin to progress through the episodes and then build up to the first pay-per-view and then move over to No Remorse, the second pay-per-view and stuff. It was just so much fun, and I'm feeling those same sort of vibes and that same sort of energy when it comes to JAM. Just got done with our second episode of our flagship show, Redemption, over on the YouTube channel, Broken Fun Bash, and yeah, that was great. That was a step up, in my opinion, from our first episode, and I'm already into production now on episode 3. And man, I just can't wait to get it out. It's just every episode I'm working on, I'm in that mode of just can't wait to get it out, because the stuff we're doing, I can't wait to see what the reaction's going to be in the live Twitch chat. It's just incredible.
Yeah, because the exciting thing, I mean, when I heard you announce it, I remember you announced it as a interactive universe mode, but since episode 1 and episode 2, it really doesn't have the feel nor the look of a universe mode at all. It just feels like a really good, like, AI, like, not like an AI VAR, it feels like an actual proper good, like, you know, like, sim show kind of thing.
Yeah, just a standard sort of highlight reel car show.
Yeah, it didn't have the feel of a universe mode kind of thing, which I think what makes it as good as it is. I think personally.
Yeah, well, so it's definitely gone through an evolution already, and it is still early days. I think we officially announced JAM would be a thing March 15th this year. So very much still in the early days, but even so, it has gone through an evolution. And as you mentioned, it was originally announced as something that was going to be more so of an interactive universe mode, a lot more live elements. If anybody came over to our pilot episode, JM, in your house, you will see that show is a lot different to what the Redemptions would end up being, because in that show in particular, one of the matches were actually live, played by the AIs. And then the other two had pre-recorded elements, highlight reel, and so on and so forth. And that's why I did a pilot episode. That's why I didn't jump in head first, Redemption episode 1, with that structure, with what I had. That's why I wanted to do a pilot, because even though all of that stuff is still canon to the JAM universe and the JAM storyline, it was a test for whether what I wanted to do, this more live interactive thing, was something that was sustainable. The other thing about that show, I'm not sure how many people know, the commentary for that is live. I played the music for the theme songs live. It was such a hassle to do all of that stuff on the go. But I was pretty happy with it. I was pretty happy with the way that turned out, and I definitely think there is a way that could be a sustainable thing going forward. But the parts of the show that I thought were the most impressive, and I thought that people, I guess, flocked to the most, were those pre-recorded highlight reel edits. The stuff that I've sort of become known for, in a way, the stuff that I was doing while I was in FAM and sort of doing at a really sort of high level, because I think I was one of the first people doing 100% highlight reel matches. You'll see people do maybe 50% or 60% or 80%, whatever the case may be. But I was doing those just full matches from start to finish, highlight reel, that 30-minute match between me and Nick at Faniversary, just start to finish highlight reel. And doing that sort of stuff in JAM, I think people just resonated with that a little bit more than they did the live elements, the match playing out before their eyes. So that's where I just sort of naturally gravitated towards wanting to do. If that's the content people want to see, and that's the content that I'm happy to put together, then let's do it. Let's make that magic happen.
I think another thing that makes JAM pretty unique is that like all the other feds, they're based on like present day, like they're happening right now. Well, in JAM, that is an alternate universe in the future. Like it's set in 2023, where AWOL won like against Rannick pretty much. Well, Cameron Bash beat Rannick at Cyber Fam Day, and Jinder also taken over the WWE as well.
Not sure how I feel about that, but you know.
Yeah, so just the idea from the get-go was if I was going to come back and do anything like a core show again, I wanted it to be radically different to everything, not just in terms of its structure, but in terms of what is presented and the world that it exists. So I wanted to pick up where I left off in a sense. I didn't want to just hit the reset button on life and just start afresh with no backstory or whatever, because I think that backstory is valuable and you can use that backstory to feed into current day plans, current day storylines, whatever you want to do. So I thought, right, we've got the director's cut on YouTube. Everybody has seen a version of Cameron Bash versus Rannick where Cameron Bash wins. Obviously, you've got the other version on the official version of Cyber Fam Day where Rannick wins. So you've got two different versions there. That's two different universes that have been created because there's two different outcomes to the same match. So that's where I started with it. And then I thought, let's just dip our toes a little bit into the future. I got that inspiration from Endgame. I believe that I've put 2023, I believe that's the exact same year that they jumped forward to in Endgame as well, 2023. So that's where the inspiration for that came from. And that just puts us in a situation where we can do whatever we like with the universe that surrounds us. Because we're not gonna, no one can say to us, you can't do that because that doesn't exist. Well, how do you know? It's 2023. Like, you don't know if it exists. And we're doing one of the things that's already a part of this world, for example, and it plays directly into the character of Xavier and Crace, is weed is completely legalized in this universe worldwide. It's become a human right, a basic human right, and everybody deserves to have the right to be able to access this thing. And then that plays directly into this Xavier and Crace character where he's just high all the time sort of thing. So it's those types of things. And we've only really scratched the surface so far on what we're going to be using with this alternate universe and futuristic setting. But some of the stuff that we do have in the pipeline, I think is going to be very exciting for people.
Yeah, because
I'm expecting laser guns, cyborgs to come out.
I just real quick on the thing that you were mentioning about Jinder Mahal as well. That's another thing that I was interested in doing. Is I didn't want to just limit myself to our core universe. I wanted to directly implement that WWE universe into it as well, because again, that just sort of opens the door to more possibilities. So far, we've seen Jinder Mahal being a founder of the thing and running the thing. And then we've also seen Joe Exotic on our first episode. Yeah. Things that you typically wouldn't see in any other core show because it's just too outside of their realm, I guess. But we're not afraid to dip into that and provide a different type of experience, if you will.
Yeah.
And I think thinking your boy Jake, his backstory is that he was like a student to like an indie wrestler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know a couple of guys are dipping into that as well. Various people have sort of history in real life promotions, whether they be AEW, whether they be WWE, whether they be Impact, whatever the case is. People are using the setting that we've provided to them to their advantage when it comes to their characters as well. Another example of that we saw in the second episode, Old Man Stigma. That's something that you can't just pull out of thin air and automatically start doing if you're trying to be consistent with your character. He can't just appear one day and be Old Man Stigma because he's been normal age Stigma for this amount of time. But when we jump into a different universe in the future on a different timeline, it could be anything you want to be.
Yeah, which I think is like really cool to see. Like, it allows people that want to be a part of JM to like really be creative with their character.
Yeah.
Like when they go in.
Yeah. Because I mean, it allows like an open, like wider, like even though with the show, like over there, because of the future segment as well. Like you said it already, but like I just love how it opens up a wider space for like more fantastical, like even futuristic stuff in a way as well. Like for example, one of our boys, Ryan, and his eye, and the situation with his eye. Like that seems, I mean that. While obviously prosthetic eyes exist, I don't think an eye, like a cybernetic eye, exists in real life yet, as far as I know. But
yeah, exactly. So, but 2023, who knows? So let's do it.
Yeah, and like how everybody wants that eye too. That just makes it more funny.
Yeah, Malik wants that eye. Malik wants that eye. One of the other things I've really enjoyed about JM as well, speaking of people like Ryan and yourself, Liam, is just the opportunity to work with so many new and fresh faces. Ever since 2013, I've really become a part of that sort of. I've got no better word to explain it, so it's going to sound pretty cocky, but that like core elitist group, just the people that the people that everybody everybody watches, the people who were in FAM, some of the guys from NGC, just sort of the people that a lot of people are into and following, and Jam has just been a really good opportunity to sort of get out of that group, step away from. It's a very sort of egotistical environment as well, if you will, because obviously all of us are just such big personalities and such big heads, if you will, that there's obviously a lot of clashes and a lot of back and forth and stuff. So to just sort of step back and just focus on some new people, focus on some up and comers, has been a great opportunity. And just you find, I like finding diamonds in the rough, if you will. I like finding the next big stars. It's something that was particularly fun to do with NGC. Didn't get to do it as much with something like FAM because, like I said, it was just such an elite group of people that everybody already knew about. So to be back down now in JAM and sort of have new people coming in and picking through those diamonds in the rough and just seeing new talent shine is it's really fun.
Yeah, because it's like since I watched JAM, like Jimmy Darrow, haven't heard of him until JAM, and I'm loving his stuff right now. Because followed him on Twitter, started looking through his stuff. It's like amazing stuff.
Yeah, Jimmy's great. D'Angelo is another one that I think is great as well. Felix Blackcraft, Marcus Vendetta, just sort of spitballing a few of the names that have been featured on the last couple of episodes. But yeah, it's amazing to see. And one of the things with Jam as well, even though it's not so much an interactive universe anymore, it still has a lot of those interactive elements. All of our show names so far have been decided by the JM universe, as it's called, that being the roster and the fans of JM. They've decided title names. They've decided how characters should look, their entrances, theme songs, moves. They've impacted directly how storylines move. And then one of the other things I really like doing, especially with a roster, is just having these like little events that are just something a little bit different. We did, leading up to episode 1 in that Fatal 5-Way, we did a series of competitions and stuff, if you will, to decide which 5 people would be in that match. One of them was like a promo competition where you had to send in a 30-second promo. The other one was a 2-minute long promo. One of them was just, I think we called it Jam or No Jam. It was just 20 boxes. The chat got to pick the box, and each one was eliminated until one box was left. And the name that was in that, Blake Blackheart, he ended up being the person who was in the match. We did a thing in the Discord where I said, all right, promo competition time, write a promo into our character promo chat, and the best one I'll pick, and that will be on the show. And I ended up picking 3 from that pile because they were just so good, and those 3 people were then directly on the show cutting those voice promos. So it's just been a nice interactive feedback loop between both myself, the roster, and the fans, and yeah, it's been a real breath of fresh air.
Cool. That's always like cool to hear and see. Is like a show properly interacting with their fans, because there has been a few shows where I think they've done like kind of like Taboo Tuesday or like Cyber Sunday or whatever that, when like the fans get to choose like certain match types to like matches and stuff. There's like that can only like do so much, while you are able to do like many different things to get the fans and roster involved.
Yeah, and that was, the FAM have done that. So obviously Cyber Fam Day, the concept of the pay-per-view is all the fans vote on the matches. And then when it came to the Cyber FAM Championship, sort of a spin-off of the pay-per-view, the stipulation of that title most of the time is here are 3 stipulations, the fans get to pick it. And that was... I really enjoyed that concept while in FAM and while we were dealing with that whole thing. And I think that was part of the inspiration then coming over to JAM. Just, all right, how do we get people involved more? How do we get people involved in more aspects of this other than just picking match types? Let's let them pick the show names and all the other things I listed, So just as interactive as possible has been my goal with this.
Cool. That's always cool to hear. But now shifting gears, since we keep on mentioning FAM, 3 years ago, you was on this channel with Big Lad Dan, and you was talking about your run throughout FAM at that point in time. And I believe you guys end up getting to your match with Devil on the Cyber Fan Day, nonetheless, I think, or Survival.
Okay.
So
we left off?
I believe so. So if you,
wow.
Yeah, and a lot of things have happened to you throughout your run in FAM, I believe. So shall we continue on with telling this little story through FAM? Even though I'm pretty sure the fans already see your story.
Yeah. So shall I just pick it up from Pandora?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. So yeah, from so obviously, quick skim of the original. Arrive at Cyber Fam Day, win the Cyber Fam Championship from Devil, defend it against Devil at Survival, retain. Also a part of the 5v5 Team Ron versus Team Rannick match. I eliminate Roberto, and then him attacking me afterwards gets me eliminated by Kill Switch, I believe. Then from there, we go into Pandora, where I win a tournament to be in the Money in the Bank match at Pandora. That's the opening show on the card. I faced William Kingdom in that match. Very, very cool match. That was one that me and Kingdom did together online.
Very brutal bumps on that test.
Yeah, I really put Kingdom over with all the bumps I took.
Yeah, like doing the spear, and then you fall onto, like, he dodges out the way, and you fly out the ring, and you like land on like 2 ladders, I think.
Yeah, and he like does some triple power bomb slam combo or something to me on the ladders as well as catching RKO on the ladder. It's gnarly. But yeah, that's a very, very different way of doing matches back then in the early FM days. It was less about the highlight reel, more so about 2 people getting online and sort of playing a match and then sort of chopping it up and editing it into the parts that you want afterwards. It was a lot quicker of a process, but just it doesn't look as aesthetically pleasing in the final project. But it's not bad. I think Bash versus Kingdom, I think, is one of those matches that you can go and watch today, and it holds up, and you can still enjoy it. So, that's on Pandora if anybody wants to check it out. Then at the end of Pandora, your man comes back out after 2TM defeats Anarchimus. There's a whole sort of kerfuffle in the ring involving goddamn everybody. I think so. The main event happens, which is Andy versus Brannick. Brannick wins. He leaves. He then sends Betrayal down to the ring to kick Andy's ass. I think that's where BH turns face. Brannick says, "You son of a bitch," attacks Eve backstage. BH went backstage. And 2TM's like, what the hell's going on? Andy has got back up by that point. He hits the bad will driver on 2TM. Cue my music. I come out, cash in. That is one of my favorite ends to a show ever, because one of the things I loved doing in FAM was trying to connect the strings between all the storylines. How many storylines can we have simultaneously going on in front of your eyes at one time? And that end of Pandora, I think, was one of those moments where we just had so many different things going on. We were sort of tying a knot on Andy and 2TM. We were kicking off Rannick versus BH, tying a knot on Andy versus Rannick, and then also inserting me into there with the cash-in and leading on to the AWOL stuff. So we leave there. We go into the Rumble. I believe we had the Fammies before there, where we had a pretty cool segment where 2TM dresses up as DNA and attacks me.
Plus also I also mentioned the biggest mark out in without I think even anybody, the hate chef and just anybody had in general with Nova's return as well.
Oh yeah, Fammies, big Nova return.
Then Bash bullies Romer, poor Romer.
Oh, that's the next Fammies.
Oh yeah, that was when like AWOL formed.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I'm just too far ahead.
So we're going to Rumble. Me versus 2TM. Very cool match as well. That's another one that sort of holds up. I believe by that point in time, I am doing 2 controller matches, so there's quite a bit of highlight reel on that match, as well as just sort of regular sim between me and myself. So enjoy that fun match. I very much enjoyed that program with 2TM. That's one of my favorite rivalries that I've ever had.
And I believe through your storyline with him, that's when his God of FAM gimmick formed.
Yeah, so it was. I was, I guess, the part where that sent him into just insanity. The God of FAM gimmick builds up from Cyberfam Day through Survival. There's some really cool match promos. I can't remember the one for Survival, but the one for Pandora, he's listing off the
commandments.
No, that's the Rumble one with me. He's doing a sort of Pillars of Society promo.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, for Pandora, and that's a really sort of cool, just egotistical thing for his character. It was really fun. And then like you mentioned, the 10 Commandments one was the Royal Rumble one. So really coming into it and then sort of losing to me again is the catalyst that makes him snap, turn on BH, and then go on to just sort of be full God mode by the time Faniversary 4 rolls around. But I beat him, and then I go on to Faniversary, where I face Nick Virtue for the second time, our rematch from Bury the Hatchet, where we drew. We have a 30-minute classic, one of my favorite matches again that I've ever put together, because it's just the idea was to put together a WrestleMania style classic, and I feel I did just that. It has that sort of slow back and forth one-upmanship. These guys really know each other sort of thing going on for the first half of the match. And then we just get into some really nice storytelling and some spots then in the second half. And it's just beautiful. Beautiful match. And then the big revelation at the end of the show where AWOL is revealed to the world. And that was one of the most fun things. There's a 10-minute video out there. It's at the end of Faniversary, and it's on the Fam channel on its own if you want to go check it out. I think it's called Bash's Plan or whatever. But the planting of the seeds throughout the entire season to get to that point was all completely intentional. A lot of this stuff just happens an accident, and you're like, oh, we're just going to say all those things meant this. From the minute I got in FAM, we were building up to this moment, planting the seeds along the way. And yeah, I feel like it all came together pretty beautifully. Then
especially all the reactions.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus, the reactions to when to Bash coming out and just decking Rennick and then doing the shield thing with DNA and Innocuous. Oh boy.
It was just out of nowhere. But when that 10-minute video is there and and it points out to you all of the sort of seeds that were planted, you get a good understanding of the full picture, and you're like, oh shit. There's a couple of things that weren't in there, unfortunately, just for one reason or another. There was certain people who were also included in AWOL who would have been really cool if we would have got the chance to do so. One of those was Darren. He was meant to have been the guy who, because he was like Rannick's right-hand man, he was going to be the guy who was sort of enabling AWOL to plant a lot of the seeds that they planted. So the story for AC and Auric, for example, was simply just they got a shot at the Rumble and they impressed and they got contracts. The original story for that was Darren was the specific reason that these guys were here, and that was going to be the same case for people like Jin and Dastardly and people like that. Darren was pushing these people to Rannick as people who should be in FAM, when in reality it was all just plants for AWOL.
No, that's just interesting.
Yeah, that would have been cool to see.
If you go back and watch Survival, there's a very specific scene in there between... Actually, it might be Pandora, but there's a specific scene somewhere between Rannick and Darren where they have a bit of a falling out, and those scenes throughout the season. All of that was building to Darren being the extra guy in AWOL. It was going to be DNA and Anarchimus attack Rannick. Bash comes out, sort of reveals as a leader sort of thing. And then Darren was sort of going to be there on the sides, just watching it all unfold.
Well, I didn't actually expect any of that.
Oh, neither did I.
The insight.
Only here. You only get the insights in here, like I said in the last episode. Only here you get the deep questions that will always be answered.
The hot reveals. So, was all of that... So with because obviously I know if I remember correctly, because I haven't seen Femniversary 4. Josh, remind me, Darren was fired at that event, wasn't he?
Yeah, because he lost to Nova in like a couple of seconds.
Yeah, where I broke down actually laughing at that on camera. So was that change of decision because I don't really remember what point. I think Darren left FAM, didn't he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was that last minute, last minute, or was that like a while ago to the point where you had enough time to change it without like panicking or anything?
The Nova versus Darren match?
Yeah, where like Darren got fired instead of him joining AWOL, like you said.
Yeah, no, that was super last minute from what I remember. I believe that's somewhere in the sort of ballpark of 2 or 3 weeks before the show came out that Darren left. So we were really sort of in a bit of a scramble to not only get the match done, but also work out how the new storyline works. It didn't take a lot of reworking. Like I said, his main goal was signing these people. But at the end of the day, we can just say that they came in off their own pretenses and then recruited afterwards, which was the case for a couple of them. But obviously, like AC and Andy and Jin were sort of more plants than anything. We sort of built up this sort of relationship between Bash and Rannick in a way that never really played out on screen. So, yeah.
Awesome. So the AWOL run, do you have any insights that you are allowed to share with us of like what kind of how they was going to be booked?
Yeah. So AWOL at the end of the day was the proposed answer to getting rid of the power struggle storyline. That was going to be the catalyst that brought that to the end after all of the compromises. Because obviously, different people have different interests. Different people want to see different things happen on the show. So after everybody's interest was taken into account, we said, all right, we will end the power struggle storyline, and AWOL will be the thing to do so. I would have ideally liked to have seen the power struggle storyline conclude at Familyversary 4 and then just continue on without it. But ultimately the decision was made that AWOL would be the thing that ends the power struggle storyline, and that would be then something that continued into season 5 of FAM. That season 5, there was many sort of different versions of it. There was the version where it was going to go all the way to Familyversary 5. I was going to face BH in a Hell in a Cell match, very likely for the title, and that was also going to be the last power struggle match. So the idea with that was, okay, FAM has effectively made the power or the GM role the world title of this show. So both of those things will need to be on the line at the same time for the power to get rid of, so that the world title can sort of come back up to that prestigious level that it should be in the main event. So yeah, that was one of the ideas. The other idea was it was just going to sort of wrap up at Survival. It was going to be more of a sort of AWOL versus FAM type of match where everybody, all of the main players were going to be in it. You know, it was going to be Rom and BH and Andy and 2TM and Rannick on Team FAM versus just all the AWOL guys. And there was 2 different versions of that. One were AWOL won, one were FAM won, but both of them had the conclusion of, all right, the power is done. So yeah, that's really the main insight, I think, when it comes to AWOL, because the ball didn't really get rolling that much, so I can't really comment on things as they were happening. But it was the end of the power storyline, effectively, and I guess we achieved that. Yeah. We did it anyway. I always get what I want. Guest player.
That's the nickname that the FAM Twitter gave you when they were asking, like, who's your favorite FAM villain? It was like the chess master, Cameron Bash.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's me, the chess master. And I always win, apparently.
Yeah. Just get away for like backstage segments with Bash and JAM. He's just playing chess with Jinder.
Oh yeah, if I'll make it happen. I'll find some way.
God.
I'll take that scene from the end of the X-Men where they're just playing chess, and I'll superimpose mine and Ginger's faces onto Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen.
That's perfect. So with it's interesting with the whole AWOL thing being the end of the power storyline, because I mean personally I love the whole AWOL stuff anyway. Like, it was one of my favorite parts of FAM. But I noticed a decent amount of people were commenting on that. I don't know how many specifically, but I did see some saying like, "Oh my god, that's enough of the power struggles. Jesus Christ, please."
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that's
interesting actually. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where I was sort of like, I feel like we've really used our limit in terms of how many times we can have a faction pop up and claim to power, or just a random entity pop up and claim to power. You did it with Betrayal. You've done it now with Rannick's Army. Can we really get away with doing it again? And for a lot of people, it was the final straw. But yeah, it's like I said, it was the compromise at the end of the day. There was people who didn't want to see that storyline sort of conclude there. They felt it had to go on a little bit longer to reach its resolution, and that's what it is at the end of the day. It's compromises, and I've not got any ill will towards anybody for that. But yeah, it's just what it is.
But now AWOL are in JAM.
Yeah, so that's like, I guess, so the way I look at AWOL, so they are an in real life wrestling trio. I think I'm not sure. I actually haven't spoken to Andy about where they got their name from, whether it was like an independent idea or whether it's directly inspired by the AWOL of Core. But either way, the way I look at them in JAM is I look at them as three guys, obviously one of them being a former member of the actual AWOL, who share that same message that AWOL carried, which was stand up for yourself and don't let anybody, no matter how big they are, sort of stand in your way. So I guess they're just sort of like a spin-off faction who share that same message, but not necessarily the same goal of trying to dismantle FAM, or in this case, JAM.
No, that's interesting to hear.
Yeah, I figured that question would come up sooner or later, so I prepared an answer.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Well, I'm glad you're prepared, at least.
Yeah. So, with I think the next thing to talk about JAM wise is the tournament that's going on.
Oh yeah. I gotta not slip up now and accidentally give out any results.
No,
who's gonna win?
You must spoil
Who's winning?
Alright, hang on. Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm literally gonna pull up current brackets so I don't accidentally spoil anything.
Yeah, well,
turns out Jinder is gonna like interfere, take someone's spot, and then win the title.
Oh, it's the Shane McMahon effect all over again. No, no, like I'm gonna put up a image now of the current brackets, just if anybody's curious about it. So it's just up now, and there you go. God,
look at all them beautiful people.
There you go, gone now. You've missed it. You'll never be able to see it again. In fact, I'll ask Cameron to delete all traces of that anyway later.
Yeah, we got this big tournament. I wanted to go big or go home with this one. Everybody always does 8-man tournaments when it comes to car. It's always 8 men because they're the most easiest. They're the easiest to manage, of course. It's just 4 matches, then 2 matches, then 1 match. So I thought, all right, we're going to go bigger and better. 16.
Why make it easier when you can make it harder?
Exactly.
That's how it works.
Exactly. More prestigious.
Yeah.
So 16 people had our first 8 matches. Moving now into the quarterfinals. We've got Ryan Hunter versus Smokey. Andre Delano, a.k.a. AC Arthurs, versus Ryo Takatsu. Morningstar versus Jimmy Darrow. And Azrael versus our mystery man of the tournament, Arik. Yeah.
I believe Ryan is the fan favorite to win the whole thing.
Well, the beautiful thing about this tournament is that it is booked in a good way. How many tournaments have you witnessed where you've just, where everybody has been able to say, oh yeah, that guy's winning from the get-go? I don't think people have been able to do it with this tournament. I see Ryan's name thrown out there a lot. I see Andre's name out there a lot. I see Morningstar's out there a lot. Jimmy, Israel, Arik. All of these guys like have a claim to it, and it's shared and resonated with the fans as well. There's not a clear-cut runaway person out of these 8 people who might win it.
Because like the amount of times I've seen like fans do their show their predictions of each result for the brackets, and it's quite fascinating to see how different everybody is.
Yeah.
I think you know guessing who our favourite is to win.
Jimmy Darrow.
Yeah, of course. How did you know? But yeah,
I mean, this podcast is named after him, so
yeah,
yeah, of course.
that is true.
The Dio podcast, of course.
I mean, your favorite, your true favorite.
Really tempted.
Love you, really, Ryan.
Really tempted to casually rename this the Daro podcast. The Daro,
Daro report.
See if anybody notices.
Base.
But no, yeah, like a lot of what's been happening with the tournament is really interesting. Like, obviously, the most interesting thing is the special is like the secret competitor Arik, and how, as unexpectedly as possible, he is now a flat earther.
It was just funny just to see how quickly the chat switched.
Oh man!
It's like, it's Arik! It's Arik! He's a flat earther! What the fuck?
Perfect, man. It's just like, and you can see it in the editing. The exact point where I start putting the booze behind RX promo is the exact same time that the chat.
It's so funny to see.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier on, one of the fun things about this has been working with new guys, and I'm sort of limiting myself on the amount of the sort of more classic names that you might know who I'm going to work with, and really being selective about it. And as you can see, we've got two guys that you know in this tournament, Arik and Andre, and they've both just sort of taken advantage of the new universe and the sort of 2023 setting. Andre Delano is just sort of going full in with his IRL gimmick. This is just sort of who he is in real life as a wrestler, but just sort of more matured and in this world as opposed to his regular core wrestler, AC Arthurs. And then you got Arik, who in this universe retired from wrestling in 2021 and has just been on his journey of self-discovery ever since, has joined the Flat Earth Society and is now in JAM to sort of push this message. And what better way to do it than by being in a tournament and potentially winning it and holding that title to just sort of scream your message from the rooftops. So yeah, just really taking advantage of that setting and just doing something really cool and creative with it. And it's just I don't think you would have gotten this out of Arik on any other core show. Any other core show, I think, that wants to take Arik on board probably wants the serious deathmatch killer sort of psycho sniper Arik that's been around since, 2014? This is a real evolution of his character and doing something different. And I think he's playing it to a goddamn T, and some of the stuff that he's got coming up, I just think you guys are going to love.
Plus that suit that he comes out in, still clean. Oh, that's some clean. Mwah! French kiss. Chef's kiss.
I'll just say to everybody following JAM, pay attention to the posts. Look for Easter eggs. Look out for hidden details, because they're there. They are definitely there. And I'm definitely going to be teasing, and I'm definitely going to be putting things out there that if you look hard enough into, you'll put two and two together and you might find some answers. If you go back and look at the teasers for Redemption Episode 2, to have a look at that mask Arik's wearing, and you might find a clue in the mask that would have told you that this was Arik. So
I mean, I spotted that the second I saw that, not gonna lie.
I'm gonna be
what did you see?
I recognized the mask because I remember him tweeting out saying like, "Hey, I got a mask. What should I start writing on it?" And then like a month or so later, he showed what the mask looks like, and I was like, "You recognize it?" You know that meme of like, Leonardo da Vinci, just Leonardo DiCaprio doing that thing where he's pointing.
Yeah.
That was literally just me when I saw that mask in that trailer. I was like, "Hey!"
Right, so
I know that guy.
You got some different insight. For those who hadn't have seen that, if they look at the actual mask, there's something in there in particular that is a small teaser, but if you link it back properly, you can work out that that's Arik.
I didn't notice the mask at the time, so what my only insight was like, oh, it's Arik was the theme, because I remember that was his theme for his FAM. I would say debut. Yeah, a debut at Rumble, because that was exactly
a last-minute tease.
Yeah, that was the exact same theme he used, and I was like, oh, it's Arik, awesome.
Yeah, just that last-minute tease for, he's about to come out. He's 10 seconds away from the reveal, but for those of you who know, here's a little last-minute tease of his song, so you can, just get ready for it.
There's a question I'm tempted to ask you in relation to the tournament, actually, that might be a little bit controversial.
Go on, do it. Own a controversy here.
Not hugely controversial, but it depends on perspective, right? So you've had so far we've already had a good amount of people enter and some people leave the tournament already. Is there anybody that's in the tournament that you would have rather had not been in there instead of somebody else?
You mean sort of based on the first round eliminations, or based on just the booking of the tournament?
Anybody in the is there anybody in the tournament you would have anybody you'd rather have in the tournament that was in JAM instead of a specific person?
He's basically asking, who would you replace?
Oh yeah, I mean, so I don't think it's a secret that there's guys who have had fallouts with me and various other people, and then still been in the tournament. But I just sort of, you just roll with it, don't you? You gotta. I stick by my booking, and I'm not the type of person to change my booking for anyone. If that graphic is out and says that this match is happening, then by God damn it, that match is happening. Okay, it doesn't matter if we have arguments or we have falling outs, and that's sort of
you're being booked, damn it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I sort of have like locked in ironclad contract style when it comes to JAM. The video is clear as day. If you send an application into JAM, you are giving me express permission to use that creation in any way that I want to. That's not for me to take everybody's car and make them look like clowns and stuff like that, because that's the furthest thing from what I want to do, and that's the furthest thing away from what's going to make the show successful. I want to make as many stars as possible. I want to make as many big dogs as I possibly can with JAM. But yeah, if there are people who join and then they'll mess around and either get removed or either leave on their own accord, or they maybe, some people sent in fucking applications for a joke. Sorry if we can't swear on this. I wasn't
No,
sure.
you can.
Nah, it's fine. We've been swearing the whole time.
Yeah, there's people who send in applications and they were like, oh yeah, it was just a joke. I was like, well, why would I think it's a joke? There is 80 plus people who have sent in applications, and 98% of them aren't joking. Why would I think you were joking? So yeah, okay. I took the time to download the call, process the call, edit it slightly so that it looks unique in the Jam universe, and that call will still be used because you submitted the application and said, yep, that's fine for that to happen. I didn't waste an hour and a half touching up your call so that it could be on the show for you to then turn around and say, actually, nah.
Yeah.
It don't work like that.
Ooh, getting heated it.
Yeah, but it's it's just one of those things. One of the things I'm doing with JM as well is it's just a one-man sort of ship in terms of the production and the running of it. I'm going to open it up as we move on because I know people want to be involved and they want to make their own matches and stuff like that. So we're going to be opening the gates for that kind of thing in the future. But yeah, it's just a lot. One of the things that I didn't want to do coming back into CAW after FAM was I didn't want to do something where I'm either A, relying on other people, or B, my fate, if you will, are in the hands of other people. That's how every single show I've ever been a part of has come to an end because of disagreements between the people in charge. I didn't want there to be another person in charge with this that I could have a disagreement with so that it could end. If I'm the only person in charge, I'm not going to have an argument with myself and then close it down, you know? So,
yeah, that's fair.
Stop beating around the bush, though. I know my answer to my question is Azrael. I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking. Love you, Az. But Well, actually, wait. You beat my cat. No, I don't. No, I don't. Never mind.
Gotta keep it kayfabe, brother.
Oh shit! Yeah. Fuck you.
Nah, but I don't think I wouldn't change anything. You know, everything works out for a reason.
Yeah.
And even in the moments where shit happens, you know, you use that as an opportunity to make a bigger moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to apologise to the people watching a sec because I'm gonna have to turn on my fan right now because I had it turned off so it doesn't pick up on the mic, but it's agonising in this room, so I'm gonna have to turn it on.
Daro022, that's all I'll say.
I mean, sure. man did get that quick pin.
Can we make spaghetti on this show?
Go ahead.
If you want to. I mean, it's a meme.
Only him.
It's a meme in the streams, so.
Only here on the Hunter Report, where you get the deepest of insights and somebody cooking up spaghetti.
I started keto yesterday, so it's the most organic spaghetti ever.
Oh. Okay, posh boy over here. Look at you with your organic shit.
Organic, no carb spaghetti.
I think this would be a good time to do a little word association game. Then.
Oh yeah, what are we doing?
Well, just basically, I'll give you a name, and you just say the first thing that comes to your head about them.
Oh boy, this is gonna get dangerous. Let's go.
All right, we'll start off nice. Malik.
Money.
Morningstar.
Chad.
Your boy Jake.
Goat.
Why do I think you're going where I think you're going, Josh?
William Parker.
Oh, okay. Be careful what you say here.
Harry.
Okay.
You get that one.
I quit. No, I'm joking.
Smokey.
Judge me. Oh, sorry. I thought I muted myself. One word for Smokey. Original. And I'll just expand on Smokey. I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of Smokey. I love Smokey because I feel like Smokey is a real throwback in a way to those really early days of online WWE games, like the sort of typical characters that people would go online with in SBR 2009 and 10 and 11 and so on. And it's just he's been able to recreate that using the logo importer, which no one sort of ever thought to do. And I know he's just a real throwback, and I really sort of appreciate the look, and I think he really stands out to everybody else. And a lot of effort goes into it. I don't know why people are just like, bleh, because you could see these logos, custom logos on every part of it. So I know not all of the attires hit, but some of them are just awesome. There's like a really cool Transformers Falcon looking one that he made recently, and shit's dope. So don't sleep on Smokey, folks.
Big praise from the Smokey boy.
Big praise.
All right. Who else? Wanari.
Personality.
And I think.
Tease.
Ooh. I think we can end off with your boy Ryan Hunter.
Canada.
Just Canada.
Sorry. North America.
Even better.
My man just radiates North America. He just enters the room and you just smell him.
Brian's gonna have a very interesting time listening to this.
Smell
Love you really,
syrup
Ryan.
and bags of milk.
Right. Here's an interesting thing now that we could try and maybe discuss about. Who is your core Mount Rushmore?
Oof. So I've if you asked me this, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, 7 years ago, it's almost the same but a little bit different because I've Me Too'd a couple of people off my Mount Rushmore. So for various actions, but yeah. So today I would have to probably say Rom, just for the sort of consistency of it all. Well, I did like a twit longer the other day where I sort of broke down the various different eras of FAM and all the different things it's gone through. And I didn't realize until putting that together how sort of Rom has been at the forefront of so many of those eras and just been the guy who's always sort of picked up where everybody else is shit. So yeah, Rom's got to be on there. I put Nick Virtue on there. Just sort of iconic guy who's done a lot for the more sim side of the community. When you talk about simming in WWE games and whatnot, you can't really do it without sort of discussing Nick Virtue.
The Big Dick Nick.
Big Dick Nick.
God.
With the Pandora's box covering it.
Oh, God. The image never leaves my mind.
Me. Because
what's your reason?
Just because I'm fucking goddamn innovator, groundbreaker, always changing the game. I feel like I start the stuff that then everybody else does. I feel like people see me doing things and then it becomes the mainstream. Speaking of which, we got an innovator coming up. Pay attention to Stigma's next match on ROX. Okay, that is we're talking about innovating. We're talking about changing the game. Stay tuned for that. All right, you're gonna wanna watch that one. I'll say no more. But yeah, that's why I'm on there. And
yeah, not Stigma, you.
I don't know where else. Rannick's fourth.
Just why? Because he's Rannick.
That works.
Yeah, fuck it. Me and all my rivals. That's Mount Rushmore of course.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Liam, you got anything you want to ask of the Bash Boy?
I do actually have a big one. Well, not big, but I've done a big, but if so, obviously
I too have a big one.
God, so with JM, you got a lot of people. You got a lot of faces. Like you can see, you got Andre Delano, aka C. Arthurs. You got a lot of people from people who are big in core also coming into JM as well as just the members who are going to be here a lot. Which, not saying anything against them, not saying anything against them, but compared to Arik, yeah. But is there anybody who's giant in core and all that who you want to get into JAM?
So we got a couple of guys in the wings. Right at the beginning of playing WWE 2K19 on stream when I was downloading cars for Jam and stuff, I intentionally went out of my way to download cars of people who people would then assume they're going to be on the show because they're on my console, but they weren't. I was deliberately planting some red flags in there because there were some in there that were going to be on the shows. But yeah, we do have a couple more people in the wings coming up who are going to be on the show. Some names that you do know. saving them for sort of some bigger appearances, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't know. There's I feel like anybody who I would want to get on, I would rather keep it under wraps and see if we could make something happen, you know?
It's going to be Rom. Bet.
I knew it.
Where is Rom in the year 2023 after the death of FAM?
That's what I want to see. Rom, get in touch now, please. I want to see that.
That's the thing about JM. There's a whole different universe here to explore, and I think so far so good. We've made a good attempt at making this an interesting universe that people are into, and it does have those questions attached to it of where are these people like Rom in this universe? Where do they exist? Where do they come into the mix? So yeah,
cool. So I think to end this off, Bash, would you like to plug in everything, even though you probably plugged in everything like during the time here? Where can people follow you?
I like to just plug things as I'm going. I'm pretty much Broken Fun Bash across the board. I got my branding consistent, so we good on that. Broken Fun Bash on Twitter, Broken Fun Bash on YouTube, Broken Fun Bash on Twitch. I'm live 5, 6, 7 times a week, so I'm live most of the time. Check me out on Twitch. And then YouTube, that's where you see most of the jam stuff. So if you want to check out the jam stuff, check out the YouTube. I'm tweeting every day. And JM also now has its very own dedicated Twitter that we just launched a couple of days ago, Broken Fun Jam. So if you want to go ahead and keep in touch with the storyline and everything that's going on with JM, definitely recommend checking that out, as there will be some exclusive stuff going on there.
Awesome, and I believe all the links will be down in the description below.
Yep. I don't know why you said it like that, but yeah, everything will be down below. Also a link to everything else. Also a link to the most recent episode of JM Redemption will be in the chat as well. Chat? Description. Oh, I've already messed that up. Wow, God.
We're on Twitch, boy.
Need another coffee after this. But yeah, but yeah, thank you for joining us for this game. Absolute pleasure having you on. Again. After like last time we were here,
yeah,
in the second video.
Yeah, it's been real fun.
We'll also try. Also, if any of you want to see it, don't know if you will or not, but we're gonna link the. I'm gonna also link the first interview that the channel's done with Cam. It's a more of an in-character thing. It's not like this, which is more of a chill, casual talk. But
I don't even remember doing that interview, by the way.
Oh, Jesus.
That's how long ago it was.
Well, it was like in 2016, so I mean, I can't blame you. But
I'm going to get sent quotes from that now and cringe.
Yeah. But yeah,
just to see how much in character he was trying to be.
Call it the Hunter Report pilot, basically. But yeah, or the pre-pilot. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want us to try and get anybody on to the show for a little chat with, feel free to put them in the comments or message us on Twitter. Hang on, my brain shut down. There we go. Message us both on Twitter at Yoshikuna or at William Shadow Dark Korea HF. And thank you again for joining us, Cam. And thank you for watching. And we'll see you whenever we manage to get another person on for one of these. Take care. Bye-bye.
Stay safe,
guys.
Oh yeah, stay safe as well. By the way, just forgot to mention that.
Peace.